Hello! In 3.3 we are going to solve inequalities with multiplication or division. For example number 1, solve each inequality and graph the solutions. Okay, so first one we're looking at here, I've got 3 times x is greater than negative 27. Alright, in the last video I kind of told you that I like to draw on these little lines to keep everything nice and neat. Even though that was a terrible line. But if you noticed, when I read this question off, I said 3 times x. And I know most people look at it and read it as 3x. But that is exactly what's going on here, is there's multiplication. So if this says 3 times x, and I am trying to solve for x, I'm going to need to do the opposite to cancel off this 3. Because right now this 3 is being multiplied on the x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So once on each side of the equation. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so then this would become 1x. And then you don't necessarily need to write the 1 in front of it. And then negative 27 divided by 3 is negative 9. Now, so I've got x is greater than negative 9, and if I go to graph this result, I'm going to put negative 9 here in the middle, and a negative 10 is smaller than it, and negative 8 is bigger, negative 7 is bigger, and I've got a greater than symbol. So if you remember from the last video, greater than, meaning the open circle. And I have the variable on the left-hand side, so that's set up perfect for my method of graphing. It points to the right, so I'm going to shade to the right. And remember, that method only works if the variable is on the left. So this is our first one. Next example. I've got 2/3 r is less than 6. Okay. Well, I've got different ways of doing this one. Now, I'm going to assume most people will like reading this as 2/3 times r is less than 6. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. You can kind of pick which way you like best. So let's say off on the left-hand side, I'll do it one way. Off on the right-hand side, I'll do it a different way. And then both of these give you the exact same answer, so you just kind of pick which way you like. Now, I'm actually going to guess that the way that some of you will prefer, let's pick a different color here, is to cancel out a fraction. So I've got a fraction being multiplied. If you remember on my last problem, my goal was to turn this into 1r, which I don't write the 1. But if I want to change a 2/3 into a 1, I can multiply it by its reciprocal. So 3/2 times 2/3 would cancel out, and this becomes 6/6, which would become 1. Now, I would need to make sure to multiply both sides of the equation, so I already forgot my line. Yeah, I know. Okay, I need to multiply both sides of the equation by 3/2. And 6/6 became 1, so that turned into 1. Less than. And then there's different ways to multiply these out. I can write this as 6/1 if I want. I know a lot of you like doing that. The way that I like doing it myself is I read this as times 3 and divide by 2. And it doesn't matter the order you do it. 6 times 3 would be 18. Divided by 2 would be 9. If you like to do it the other order, 6 divided by 2 would be 3, times 3 would be 9. So that would give you one answer. R is less than 9. And let me do it a different way. And so the way that a lot of people will end up doing it, just because you get so used to doing the opposites to solve things, is this says 2/3 times r. So the fact that it says times means I know a lot of you will want to divide both sides. So if you divide by 2, oh god, that was a terrible 3, but we'll go with it. You divide by 2/3, both sides. Now the key thing here is that dividing by a fraction, 2/3 divided by 2/3 is 1, so I get 1r. When you divide by a fraction, it's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So 6 divided by 2/3 is the same thing as 6 times the reciprocal, which is 3/2. And then that conveniently is the exact same thing that we did over on the left-hand side. And again, 6 times 3 would be 18, divided by 2 would be 9. You get the same answer either way. It's just kind of like how you like to view it. And I need to graph the answer either way. So I have r is less than 9, so I'm going to put 9 in the middle. 8, 7 less than it, 10, 11 bigger than it. Less than would be an open circle, and less than 9. Okay, next example. And I've got 3 up here that I'd like you to try on your own. So why don't you pause the video and see if you can figure these out. Okay, if you tried these are the 3 different answers you should have gotten. And, you know, some of them, if you like to divide, that was A and B. C could be done 2 different ways, but you get same answer no matter what. Okay, nicely done. This was part 1 of 3.3, which is solving inequalities with multiplication and division.